Hello. For this week's video, I wanted to talk a little about our lovely wooden altar appointments that we use during the season of Lent. This great gift of this set of implements comes to us from Sam McDowell, who's here with us today to talk about these. So Sam, just thank you for these. I'm told we've had these for 29 years, I believe.
Yeah.
Tell us, how did all this come to pass?
I was raised in this church, and then when I got married and moved back to Statesville in '93, my wife and I came here, and found a home, and got to know Doug Daly, who was new that fall as well. And as approached to Lent, he just said he wanted to put away the silver and the brass and come up with something a little more common. And so the end result of that was I made these chalices and all this communionware out of walnut, which is significant because the original church was built on Walnut Street in 1879. And the first one I put an inlay of ebony in there. It's a lot of work. And I didn't know what I was doing, really. I'd only made a bat about that long in shop class in the 8th grade. But I used an old lathe that my father had bought in the late 40s. And Red Park, who was a good friend of mine, is the father of a fellow I went to high school with. He also it turned out, had the same lathe, and he made the candlesticks, the book stand, the torches for the acolytes, and the cross that they carry, and he made the stands too. So that first year, I ended up making 2 chalices, and this is a bread box, and then the lavabo bowl where the priest washes his hands. And later, a couple of years later, as I learned how to turn wood better, I made these cruets, which are walnut. They're polyurethane on the outside, and the inside is coated with epoxy. Now, over the years, I noticed that Brad couldn't tell the difference between wine and water looking in there, so that I had to make new lids just recently that were a little more sturdy. And so on this one, I added the red cord for the red wine, so he gets it right the first time.
A few times I had to perform a miracle there and turn some water into wine.
I think a couple times you turned wine into water.
That may have been the case, yes.
But also, this is one of the first things I made was the paten that puts the bread wafers on, and it's polyurethane, which is fairly slick. So the bread wafers were falling off. So I took it home and sprayed it again and sprinkled it with actually some real light sawdust, so that it has a rough texture so that they don't slide around on.
That was a helpful improvement there.
Yeah. Yes.
And Sam, there's a story behind this plate, isn't there? The one that stays over below the ombre during Lent?
Yes. Doug Daly and I went out. He had found to Harmony to a antique restoration place, and there was a pew in there that had been taken out of the original church over on Walnut Street that our church had donated to the Quakers. And they had taken it out there for restoration and never picked it up. And Doug bought it. And it was too big for his house as it was, so he had him cut it in half to make a love seat. Well, they used the end pieces, and when Doug left in '92, he gave me the plank, the wood left over from the pew seat and the back that came out of there. So this was made from that. And if you think about it, that in 1879, the tree was probably 100 years old to be that big. So you can imagine this is well over 200 years old. And the way this is made, as you can see, there's a centerpiece, the base piece, which is one disc, and then the other pieces are called segments. There's 12 segments that I glue into a ring and then glue them onto the base piece and turn the whole profile. And after I finished it and brought it over here, one of the ladies in the altar guild noticed that there's 1, 2, 3 nail holes in the
Wow.
in the wood. That was these square nails that were used to put the pew together.
Wow.
So that's been around a few years.
Wonderful. And one thing we hadn't mentioned, Sam, was the vase here for the flowers. Was that you or
That was
Red?
me.
Or Sam,
was
you
me.
made that? Okay.
Later on, I made the vases for.
Okay.
I made 2 of those for the flowers up here.
Okay. Wonderful.
I forgot about those.
Yeah.
But what is, besides just finding a home here and enjoying the church, I found a hobby that I still participate in. I make and sell probably 30 or 40 pieces of wood a year and enjoy turning wood.
Well, you certainly become brilliant at it. I've seen these and other pieces. We thank you for this gift to the church, and it's one we're privileged to use every Lent. If you'd like to know more about these or about woodworking or wood turning, come after church some Sunday and talk to Sam, or come up and take a look at the pieces. They're really lovely, and we're really grateful. So thank you for watching today. So long.